Christoph Waltz sits down with Collider to talk about an Alita sequel, telling us whether he'd be involved and wants to do one, and also saying that maybe it wouldn't fit into the Disneyfication now that Disney has bought Fox. This led to a bunch of different articles, including Screen Rant saying Alita may not happen, Alita 2 because of Disney, says Christoph Waltz. Not really what he said. But the news negative to an Alita sequel kept going. Alita Battle Angel 2 could not occur due to Disney, says Christoph Waltz. Again, not really what he said. Leading to another article talking about how Disney should get a sequel on Disney Plus since it might not make a movie sequel to Alita Battle Angel 2. So all of these dominoes I don't think are accurate. We'll give you the full details, what Christoph Waltz actually said, what we think about a Disney Plus potential series, as well as what AMC would like to see in Alita 2, especially now that AMC isn't really working. The Doctor is in. What's up guys, Doc Ito here with an Alita update. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you don't miss any of Doc Ito's free repairs. And check out the links below to sign the Alita sequel petition, which is going to cross 148,000 signatures today. Buy those Blu-rays baby, and consider subbing to our second channel. With our most recent video there looking at the special features and evolution of the production of CGI for Alita. And link below there's a GoFundMe campaign trying to raise funds for a Rosa Salazar appreciation gift, so if you could contribute that would be great. Christoph Waltz sat down with Collider to talk about his new Quibi show, and he was asked about Alita Battle Angel 2 with a potential sequel to Alita Battle Angel. This spurred a lot of different articles, but let's see what Christoph actually said. The article talks about the passionate fan base, and while chatting with Waltz about his new, quote, movie in chapters, Most Dangerous Game, I just had to get his take on Alita's passionate fanbase and whether or not he wants to be part of another film. This is what Christoph said. Of course I would. But you know, I'm as wise as you are. I haven't heard anything and I'm a little disappointed and surprised that I haven't heard a thing so far. Because I know that it has followers. I know that people liked it, and aside from what others said, I loved it, and I liked working on it, and I liked the result. You know, it was Fox, and Fox doesn't exist anymore. Now it's Disney. Maybe it doesn't fit into the Disneyfication. I have no clue, though. I have no clue. Maybe they're working on something, and I wouldn't be the first person to hear. But meanwhile, I haven't heard anything. So, a couple interesting things here. Number one, he said, despite what others have said, he loved it. There was some rumors that he wasn't a big fan of Alita. I thought those were always ridiculous. He did a fantastic job, and I'm not just biased because I go by Doc Ito. I think he did a great job in the movie, and he's a fantastic actor. For him to come out and say that he wants a sequel, he wants to work on another movie is encouraging, and the fact that he enjoyed the movie is also good. The article moves on saying that this is not a confirmation that they're moving forward with a sequel, obviously, but Waltz is well aware of the fan base and shares the desire for more Alita, which is good. The issue about Disney and Fox is important because Fox, 20th Century Fox, the studio we know has had reshuffling, has different people in charge, and they're reducing the amount of movies even before the whole slowdown with the current situation. The plan was for Fox to make fewer movies. So it is more, I think, a problem of figuring out where Alita fits in as a sequel to Disney's repertoire, but these are things that can be worked out. He just hasn't heard anything right now. This whole Disneyfication issue, I know in the comments people are going to talk about potential changes to the character of Alita, to the character of the movie, to maybe toning down the violence or changing who Alita is as a person. These are real concerns about Disney controlling Alita, and I don't think this is what Christoph was getting at, but those are concerns that we will have once a sequel is announced, and we will fight for maintaining Alita as what she is. But the conclusion from here should be that Christoph is looking forward to an Alita sequel. He wants to join the campaign. And while there is potential issues with Disney Fox, these are not be-all end-alls. So with Screen Rant concluding that Alita may not happen because of Disney, says Christoph Waltz, that is kind of what he said, but not really. He still wants to make a sequel, but suspects it might not happen now that Disney owns the rights. He really just said, now it's Disney. Maybe it doesn't fit into Disneyfication, but I have no clue. So he doesn't know how it fits into the whole repertoire of the Disney landscape, but we'll see. It's possible that because of Disney we aren't going to get it, but I think with James Cameron and Avatar at Disney, there's going to be a lot of incentive to get an Alita sequel going forward, if especially Avatar has a lot of success. Games Radar talks about how he is disappointed and surprised that there's no sequel. And Games Radar also talks about how they spoke to Edward Norton about his cameo in Alita, hinting that a sequel is already in mind. Fingers crossed, one day we'll have better news. Of course, we're going to continue to support Alita as Alita Army, getting more support and more people involved. To watch the movie, as more fans grow, more desire for a sequel will pop up. And interestingly, even the Mary Sue, which hasn't always been very positive about Alita, chipped in, talking about Christoph Waltz, wondering where the Alita sequel is. They start off by saying the 2019 Alita was a huge hit, which is kind of a change for the reporting, but I'm encouraged by it. After a budget of 170, it made 404. They gloss over all the Captain Marvel issues, which those are battles from way in the past, and cover essentially how Christoph would like to get a sequel. He got into the monopolizing elephant in the room about who owns Alita rights, thanks to Disney buying up Fox. Well, the Alita rights are James Cameron's, they're not Disney's. He could technically go with another studio, but like I mentioned, with the Avatar situation and all the movies coming out through Disney, I don't think he's going to go in a different direction. Global News Hut covered this. Alita 2 could not occur due to Disney. Not really what he said. Christoph Waltz 2 still keen on Alita Battle Angel sequel, Flickering Myth, and a bunch of other articles were written about Christoph and his interviews as well. Now, most recently, Screen Rant wrote an article saying that Alita Battle Angel should get a sequel on Disney Plus as a TV series. And my first thought is no, Alita needs a proper sequel with James Cameron. If you read between the lines, some of the prior interviews, he does not want a streaming series. He wants a full sequel, as most of our fans do as well. But let's hear what Copper Hood has to say, with his premise that Disney might not make a sequel, so the studio should continue the story as a TV series. The article talks about the history of the movie and how the film was Fox's final release, getting mixed to positive reviews, which of course the fan reviews was over 90%, and the fans have launched internet campaigns like the banner and everything else we've done. However, co-star Christoph Waltz doesn't know if a sequel is part of Disney plans. Well, he doesn't know. He's not saying it's not. With the interest, understandable, it doesn't appear that Alita will get a chance to star in another movie. Not true. We just don't know at this stage. But let's say this is true. Let's say we're not getting a movie, then yeah, of course I'd want a Disney Plus series if we're not absolutely getting a sequel, but I think a sequel is still potentially in the works. Thanks to Disney Plus, the Mouse House has the perfect place to continue Alita Battle Angel as a TV series. Why a sequel is unlikely. If it's decided it won't be made, it's not surprising. Well, it would. I mean, Christoph just said it is a surprise. They haven't already announced it. The first film had a big budget to bring this movie to screen, as well as the CGI character, 170 million. With a revenue of 405, it eclipses the 340 needed, but that wasn't big enough. Well, number one, the budget for the second one is not going to be as high because some of the CGI characters are already built, the assets are already there, and Iron City being a completely physical set that can last up to 10 years is also there. So the budget is going to be less, so I disagree. Then the article talks about how it's kind of crowded at Disney with all the different movies coming out. But again, there's plenty of room for Alita to also get on the big screen, especially under the Fox studio, or I guess 20th Century Studios as they're calling it now. Disney Plus is a better home for Alita's story. They argue that it would be a good landing spot because it would give more time to flesh out characters and ideas rather than just putting everything in 2 hours. There is some element of truth to that, but I would still like to see the quality that a movie brings rather than just a series. Prior to filming, Cameron plotted out an entire trilogy of films that would adapt Alita's complete story to Rodriguez. However, the brisk pace would inevitably lead the sequels to suffer the same storytelling troubles as the original. I disagree. I didn't think there were really any storytelling troubles, but it all depends how much of the story you're trying to tell. Obviously, in a 2-hour movie, you're going to be able to tell less than in a big, let's say 10, 20 episode series. In some ways, there is a possibility for a Disney Plus TV series, but I think what we should really do is get a trilogy followed by a Disney Plus series covering other aspects of the story. I think that would be the best way to do it. They talk about, The Mandalorian and the success of that. I like The Mandalorian. I didn't actually think the story was that great, but that's a different issue. And we get into another issue here because they're spending, Mandalorian was about $100 million they spent on that show. If Alita ends up on Disney Plus, they're not going to spend $100 million on it. And Disney might be able to reduce production costs through a series or using, different techniques. But the problem is if it's going to be a low production budget, the quality of the of the series is not going to be there. And that's going to be a big, big problem. There's no question Disney Plus would benefit from having Alita on there. They have 50 million subscribers, but they are lacking a lot of original content. So they might be looking at, putting things on there that they can. This is true. I think that's one of the risks with Disney Plus, that they are going to want to put it on Disney Plus, but I don't think Cameron is going to want to go down that route. I think he's going to fight for a movie and wait as long as he can before acquiescing to potentially bringing it to Disney Plus. I'm not reading the whole article, just snippets. There's this interesting point that an Alita sequel series is potentially bubbling already because Rodriguez is going to work on The Mandalorian 2. If he becomes familiar with the studio and the process, the possible production conditions, it's possible he could consider Alita Battle Angel 2 sequel series himself. So I think that is a potentiality. If we're doing Mandalorian with Robert Rodriguez, he could potentially decide to talk to Cameron and say, hey, let's just do this on Disney Plus. Of course, we wouldn't want that. We want the real deal with the movie, but we are going to have to wait and see what happens. So here's this AMC article, 7 things we'd love to see in Alita 2. And of course, these are things we would all love to see. More of Alita's battle against Nova. As those who have read the manga know, it's a very interesting relationship between the two, and we would love to see Edward Norton's interpretation of Nova Destinova going forward in the world of Iron City, Zalem, and everywhere else. In the sequel, they say it'd be nice to see the Battle Angel avenge herself and all those that along the way with a face-to-face confrontation with Nova. And again, we will see that if we get a sequel or potentially in the trilogy, and it'll be very interesting. They'd like to see a deeper look into the world of Motorball. They say if Alita is going to fight Nova, based on the ending of the film, it's going to be through her quest to become final champion, which gives her a one-way ticket to Zalem. Well, spoilers, if you read the manga, I guess I won't spoil it for you guys, but, there may be more to the story than this one-way ticket seems. But we know that the Motorball arc with Joshua Gunn is awesome, and we would all love to see that in the sequel, of course. A one-way ticket to Zalem. Of course, we'd all like to see what it's like up there, and it all depends on where they focus on the manga to cover in a sequel, but I'm sure we will end up seeing Zalem at some point. If not in the sequel, perhaps in the third movie. AMC wants to see payback for the death of Hugo, and of course this is going to be interesting to see how Alita on screen, portrayed by Rosa Salazar, deals with Hugo's death, which I think we are going to see in the sequel. Even more insight into Alita's past. Of course, we want to see the fall, we want to see her on Mars, we want to see everything behind what brought her there, so totally agree. And then further opportunities to see Robert Rodriguez's crazy visuals at work, absolutely, we can't wait to see that. And then a cliffhanger that helps Alita Battle Angel progress into a trilogy. When James Cameron developed Alita, it was meant to be a trilogy. The plan is there for those who seek it, and if Rodriguez is adamant, as some of his partners like John Lando are, there should be a nice tease that ensures a third film has to happen. And they finish by saying Alita is available for viewing at home. Now, I hope AMC really makes it through this time period. AMC is usually the theater I go to, and it's been sad to not be able to go for quite some time. Of course, people are dealing with more serious issues, but AMC as a company has been struggling, and from what I read, they're talking about potentially filing for bankruptcy or shutting down for good. So hopefully that doesn't happen and we can go back to see movies just like we have been. So I hope everyone is doing well, that you guys are staying safe. I know it's been kind of a crazy time out there. I've been missing for a little bit with everything going on, but I hope everyone's staying safe, and we're going to continue to fight for an Alita sequel. Remember the fundraiser link below, and we will not stand by in the presence of evil. We're going to continue to fight. I'll keep you guys updated when news comes in. And it's, to me, encouraging that Christoph jumped on board, commented on it, says he wants a sequel, says he knows about the fan base. And, of course, head on over on Twitter, check out the other channel, and continue to support Alita and keep up those safety recommendations from your local regions. So you guys all have a great day. God bless, and we will talk to you soon. Doc out.